Thank you very much. Vanessa, it must be okay because you
Yes.
went back to your seat.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll get things started. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to everyone. We'll call to order this regular meeting of the Lawrence County Commissioners. Today is Tuesday, October 8th, 2024. A couple of housekeeping items. I'll note for the record that the meeting is being live streamed and it's also being recorded. I would ask if you have any type of an electronic communication device, if you please put it on silent or vibrate. We would appreciate your doing that. We always begin the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then following that, if you remain standing, we'll have a brief moment of silence. Commissioner Sanada, could you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. We'll have a brief moment of silence. Thank you, everybody. Vanessa, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Sinata,
Here.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Here.
Commissioner Vogler.
Here. We have a quorum. Welcome back, Commissioner Sanada. Thank you. Good to have you back. I trust everybody has a copy of the agenda, and if so, note that explanation of procedures. Note that we always set aside time for public comment twice during the meeting, one in just a few moments and then one before we adjourn. If you do wish to make a public comment, we ask that they be related to county government matters. And also, if you could try to limit your time to about 5 minutes, we appreciate that courtesy. You're welcome to speak both times, one of the two times, or if you're just here to listen, that's equally fine. We always set aside time for any of our elected row officers who might be in attendance. They're not obligated to be at these meetings, but in the event that they would show up, we put aside some time for them to speak. But today, none of our row officers are here at the meeting. So that takes us to public comment. I'll open it up. If you could state your name for the record. If you do have a comment, we're here to listen. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioner Vogler, Commissioner Kennedy, Commissioner Sanada. My name is Carl Bromley. I've been a resident of Lawrence County for the past 4 years. Great place to be. And I'm bringing something to you again. I sent you an email about 45 minutes before the meeting started with some logos that I proposed for a county LinkedIn page. And the nice thing about having a company page for the county is you can also have showcase pages, which would be a good place to promote the Lawrence County 175. Some months ago, you adopted a flag for that event. This is the equivalent, but instead of being a rectangle, it's a 300 by 300 pixel square, but it uses elements from that flag for your convenience. There would be no cost in implementing this. Be glad to teach county employees how to do it if there's nobody available for doing that.
Well, we appreciate that. I did see the email and I don't know if you made a copy of it.
No, Carl gave me.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because I just strolled in here and my computer hasn't fired up yet, so.
Well, we appreciate that. We'll take a look at it, maybe consult with our IT director as well. So
Sure.
We appreciate that very much, Mr. Bromley.
There's copies of the logo. Technology always changes, so this just showed what was available on my computer screen at the time, but you can see the two logos there for Lawrence County. The third one to the right is one I did for Lawrence, forward to Lawrence, to show you where a shaded background appears. I could explain that more outside of the meeting. Take your time.
Very good, sir. Well, thank you very kindly. We appreciate your bringing this to our attention. Are there other public comments? Hearing none, we'll move along. Under fiscal and contractual, we'll note that last week we passed a resolution number 299 giving our planning department the authority to, in conjunction with the Borough of Elwood City, to advertise for bids, EA curb ramp improvement project The bids are due on, there's a discrepancy here. The resolution says the bids are due on November 18.
That's correct.
Okay, so on the agenda, it says November 8. So if we could correct that on your agenda, it should read 11/18. We'll make note of that correction. Bear with me just a minute, please. My pen to come to life. There we go. Then moving along under warrant registers, most weeks we receive these documents from the county controller's office. They are also known as check reconciliation registers. They're all here if anybody wishes to see them. It's a listing of all the checks that have been cut. And we actually received 4 of these documents. They are dated September 27, September 30, October 2, and October 4. And I'll give my colleagues whatever time they might need to look them over. And gentlemen, feel free to ask any questions, or if you get to the point where you'd like to make a motion to accept these documents, we can do that as well.
I'll make a motion to accept the documents.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you both. Any, Dan or Chris, any questions about the warrant registers? Okay, thank you. We'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Also in our packet, we have minutes from 2 previous meetings, September 24 and October 1, both of calendar year 2024. Again, gentlemen, give you time to look them over, and then whenever you're ready, I can entertain a motion for us to approve the minutes as submitted.
I move we accept the minutes as submitted.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any concerns regarding the minutes? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thanks, Vanessa. We have no written communications for entering into the record this morning, so that takes us down to commissioner reports and comments. And Mr. Sonata, you get to go first today.
Thank you, Chairman. That was way last week. So I didn't have a chance to do a lot of the activities in the community, but I know that there was a lot out there. Last thing I actually participated in was the drug and alcohol ceremony downtown a week ago Friday. And once again, I've done that for many years that they've had. I think it's their 5th year. And they do a nice job down there. And it's always nice to see those who have recovered and have turned their life around. And I think that's always an uplifting, positive event they've been doing with our drug and alcohol downtown. So it's pretty much all I have.
Okay, thank you very much, Chris. Again, welcome back. Microphone back on. Couple of things just to note for record, and this was reported in the Newcastle News last Wednesday. Commissioner Kennedy and I had the privilege of welcoming the Pennsylvania Secretary of the Department of State, Mr. Al Schmidt, to our courthouse. He is visiting each courthouse in the Commonwealth, specifically the voter services offices, and that was his purpose for stopping by here. And certainly a pleasure to meet and welcome him. Mr. Kennedy and I also attended on Friday the annual legislative breakfast that's put on by the County Realtors Association and the Builders Association. And a number of our area legislators spoke at that gathering. Over the weekend, and I know Dan will probably talk a little bit about this, he and I each attended the Oktoberfest celebration down in Elwood City Borough on Saturday, which looked to be a very successful, bless you, very successful event. I attended on Sunday a very interesting church service. There had been a nice article in the paper about the Rose Point Reformed Presbyterian Church, which is out in Slippery Rock Township in the village of Rose Point. They're celebrating their 190th anniversary. Bless you. And the church building was built shortly after the Civil War. It's a red brick building. And they had prior to their church service, had an interesting presentation on the history of that church. And one of the interesting aspects of that church is that those members back in the pre-Civil War days were very active in the Underground Railroad, helping runaway slaves find their way to freedom. And there's a fascinating history of a most interesting place of worship in our county. And then yesterday, Commissioner Sanada and I went out to Clearfield County. We attended the quarterly meeting of the Northwest County Commissioners Association. We were at Penn State Du Bois and heard a presentation from Lisa Schaefer, who's the director, the executive director of the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania. And the Butler County's Economic Development Director gave a very informative talk as well. Gave us the opportunity to chat with some of our fellow commissioners from this neck of the woods. Let me also note, looking ahead, that this afternoon, the three of us will be traveling to the Mercer County Courthouse for the quarterly meeting of the West Central Job Partnership Governing Board. That is at 1:30, and that meeting is open to the public, if anybody wishes to attend. And then finally, I'm really excited about this. This Thursday, the 10th of October at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, our planning office is going to showcase the latest enhancements that have been made to the Quaker Falls County Park right off of US Route 224 in Mahoning Township. I have to stop out there over the weekend, and and you've seen it, what they've added as far as your ability to see those falls is just tremendous. I was so impressed, and I think there's even more to come in the future. So I really want to thank the planning department for all that they've done. But they are having this ceremony to showcase these enhancements this coming Thursday, the 10th, at 1 o'clock at the park site. So everyone's invited, and we're really looking forward to that. So that's, other than to note that the courthouse will be closed this coming Monday, the 14th, in observance of Columbus Day. So that's all I have, and I'll turn it over to my colleague, Mr. Kennedy.
I'll start with the planning department. They were out there doing some work last week in this group. They have really done a nice job. I kid her a lot about it, but they really, that has enhanced that quite a bit. You can get right down there and get to see the falls. But, nice job. We'll see that on this week and celebrate that. Chris, anybody says welcome back, it's me, because I had to run everywhere when you were gone. So welcome back, Chris.
Quite active too.
And
Saw your picture twice in the paper.
Saturday I ran, and then down to Elwood to their Oktoberfest. Nice day, beautiful weather. They had a great turnout. Glad to see it. So we stopped in there, and then I went over to Vinnie's, and I didn't realize really who the guy was until after I saw the paper yesterday. Ike George, as I know him as. He worked for Bill Frey Chevrolet for years. And Ike and I actually worked together years and years ago. And I'm going to reach out to his daughter here. But a good looking picture in the paper of him too. Not just me, Joe. But it was nice. 103 years old. He's, he was sharp as a whip too. Talked to him for quite a while there. And, very nice gentleman. I knew that 40-some years, almost 50 years ago. He's a great guy. So glad to do a little celebration with him. And Jesse had a whole crew down there from the VFW also, so it turned out nice for them. So nice celebration. Besides that, Sunday I went to Franklin to the Apple Fest, but that was with my son, and we had a good time. They had a heck of a turnout up there, so it was nice to see. Chris, I'm glad you're back. Maybe this weekend I could take it easy. We'll see. I'm getting to the point I don't mind running, so that's a good point.
Well, from what you both have told me, in your travels, you ran into one of the Venango County Commissioners,
Yeah.
Mr. Abramovic. You ran into George Hartwick, who's a Dauphin County Commissioner.
Yes.
So what are the odds of that? Well, particularly you.
Especially me, well,
Yeah,
many miles away, I
Right.
run into Commissioner.
both nice guys.
I just want to follow up, Dan, with your comments on Mr. George. He is a true hero. He came to Harrisburg 2 years ago because he's one of the, is it the Hawaii?
Pearl Harbor survivor.
Yes, and he was honored on the House floor in Harrisburg, and they all knew him now because there was always so many Pearl Harbor survivors left. He's one of the few that's actually left.
So he actually had your picture of him and
Yes.
you two down in Harrisburg.
Yes, there, and we honored him when he turned 100 years old up at Rhodes Estates a few years ago. So I mean, I'd go back with him a ways. And, he's just a true gentleman, and when he was 100, he's as sharp as you or Dan or me.
Yeah.
I mean, just talking to him, it just amazes me. And now he's 103, so I think he's a true hero. When you look back at his story, and when he came to Harrisburg, you had staff members who wanted their picture with him, just because of his, what he did, and he was well known down there. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
And thank you for representing us. And thanks to the Newcastle News. They wrote a very nice article, front page. Appreciate the news doing that.
One thing I heard down there is about Jessie and her department over here. What a class act they all are over there, and how well they help people. So we and I was told that by somebody else. So we got a young lady over there that's just above and beyond. Jessie and her team does just a great job here for them. I think Dan and I had a conversation last week about, we've got a good group of people in this courthouse, and it shows every day. There's a lot of what we are. We thank them all.
You've got great department heads. We'll be hearing from one shortly, so.
Oh, except for that one.
You had my vote.
You've probably learned since Mr. Kennedy's been here that when he teases you, that's a good thing. It means he likes you. So, well, thank you, gentlemen, very much. We will move on to new resolutions. Mr. Grippo, Mike Grippo from our Children and Youth Services Office is with us. He's got a couple of contracts. Vanessa, what will the first number be?
310.
310. Dan and Chris, can we hear from Mike on both of them and then maybe take them? Sure.
Absolutely.
Motion for both? Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Grippo, the first one you have, number 310, Bethany Christian Services out of Allegheny County. What can you tell us about this one, Mike?
All right, it's a renewal. The price range is between $59 to $102 a day. CYS used them, so CYS just used them. We had in 22, 23, we had 8 children. Last year we had 6, and we currently have 1. So, but if you look at the rates, don't jump out of your chair because they're still well below the average rate. They were asking for like 89 to a 243% increase, which still would put them right about average of what the average is. But we got them down to where, it's 59, 73, 100, 102. But it's still below the average foster care. And you can see back in 2023, they were only at $34 a day. Okay, so the increase seems high, but really it's not. So we got them up at least a little bit higher than what they were. And that's for that. And we use them quite a bit.
Before you go to the next one, let me ask, Dan, any questions on this first proposal?
None.
Thank you. Chris, anything for Mike? Mike, thank you on that one. And then Family Links, Inc. out of Pittsburgh, Allegheny County. What can you fill us in on?
Okay, this is a new one. This is more of a backup. In case we're stranded at 1 a.m. and have to place a child. But this is a group home. Again, it just, I finally got approved by OCYF, so we never used them, but in case, it's just a backup.
Thank you. Mr. Sanada, any questions for Mr. Grippo? No. Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. All righty, thank you. Gentlemen, would one of you be willing to make a motion for us to approve both resolutions 310 and 311?
I'll make the motion. We approve both resolutions.
I'll second.
Thank you both. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes,
motion carries.
thanks, Vanessa. Mike, thank you.
Yeah.
Got anything else for us?
No, I mean, you guys may be upset, but I'm probably not gonna be here as often as I have
Oh,
to.
Mike.
Yeah, you're a part of it.
Yeah, it's winding down.
Sweet go.
Yeah, I know. It's winding down.
That's all right. You know you're always welcome.
Okay.
Oh, it's good to see you.
All right,
Thank you, Mike.
Take care, Mike.
Take care. Next on our agenda, Resolution 312, we have our Chief Assessor, J.R. Hardister. And J.R., we appreciate your coming down to meet with us. You have a document in front of us, proposed resolution for a compromise settlement on a parcel in, I believe, in the Shannock Township. Could you fill us in on the details, please?
Yes, there is a resolution in front of you, a settlement agreement for the property owned by Stephen Hoy and Stephen Warner. It's more commonly known as the former Newcastle Battery Plant out in the Shannock off Wilmington Road. There are two parcels currently, even though there has been a subdivision recently recorded that merges these two together. So once this compromise is done, we will then combine the two parcels into one. But because the taxation occurred as two separate parcels for this calendar year, we are treating this compromise as two separate parcels. That's not going to affect the value when they combine. When they combine, we're just going to add the two numbers together. So we're reaching the same tax dollar amount. So nothing's going to get lost once the consolidation occurs. But what has happened, a little history on this, is the property owners filed an assessment appeal in 2023 on the Newcastle Battery and the adjoining property. There was an appraisal submitted by the property owner, and the Board of Assessment Appeals rejected the argument, and it went up to the Common Pleas Court. Since the time of the Board of Assessment Appeal hearing and to date, the property has since gone under contract to be a purchase agreement well above what it was appraised at, the appraisal that was submitted to the Board of Appeals. So the taxing bodies, solicitors, and myself feel, since there is a legitimate sale, that might be the more accurate valuation of the property, and the property owner has agreed to that same stipulation. So the current stipulation is $2.1 million for that property. Again, that is market value. Because our assessment system works in a base year format, we have to convert the current market value to the current assessment. So we take the market value 2.1 million multiplied by the common level ratio of 53.7%, and we're going to get about an assessed value of around $1.1 million, a little over $1.1 million. So that's what it would be assessed at. It's currently assessed at 2.1 million. 2.2 million. With an implied fair market value of 3.5 million. So they're going from a 3.5 million market value down to a $2.1 million market value, basically off of a recent sale of the property. And it is also my understanding that the new owners of the property are gonna be making some major renovations to this property, which should also increase its value in the near future.
Are you able to share with us the positions of the other two taxing bodies, those being the Neshannock Township School District and the Township of Neshannock? Where do they stand on this proposal, to your knowledge?
The resolution in regards to the township was submitted to the township, and they acted as approving it contingent upon the other two taxing bodies approving it. So they've also agreed as long as the county and school district. The school district has had some meetings about it, but they've not taken formal action. That's to be next week. And everything I've heard from the solicitor is that they intend to approve it, but we have to wait till officially next week from the school board to approve it.
Given the fact that the school district is the largest of the three in terms of taxes levied, I guess I'm looking for a recommendation from you or an opinion from you. Should this board wait until it takes final formal action, or are you comfortable with us moving forward on this today?
Past practice of the prior boards have always waited to the other three taxing bodies, even though the township approved as contingent. Typically, you guys have waited to the school board, the other two taxing bodies. Now that's the prior board's Dan,
Right?
which you are the only active member of.
Right.
The sale price is gonna be hard to argue.
Well, I'm not disputing your agreed upon numbers. Mine is a procedural question in terms of should we, given past practice, and again, I realize my two new colleagues aren't bound by that. I respect that fact. Would it cause any difficulty for you or for the owners if we waited until the school district took its action and then we took action? Would that cause anyone a problem?
I don't see a problem.
Okay.
As long as it can get approved by the board, all three taxing bodies by the end of the month, so the Board of Assessment Appeals can take action on an exoneration in November so that the bills can get adjusted or refunds. We don't want to push it too long down. December is a very tough time for the treasurer and the tax collectors issuing refunds and issuing revised bills because you're limiting the time the property owner has to pay before things get delinquent. So if we can get it done by the end of the month, that gives my office and the Board of Appeals time to do the exoneration.
And you anticipated my next question in terms of the time frame, and if I'm looking at the calendar correctly, this board is going to meet 3 more times before the end of the month. And again, help me again with what you said about the school district, the school board. When do they meet? Do you know?
I believe it is next week.
Next week.
If not, it's definitely this month.
Okay. Well, I've asked enough questions. Let me see if Commissioner Kennedy has questions for you. Okay, thank you. Mr. Sonata?
Just JR, like, this is the first time dealing with this and understanding the process here. So their assessment went down. So the municipalities are gonna lose some money.
All three taxing bodies will lose money, yes.
Okay, how much are we looking at?
County tax dollars, what's that?
$3,000.
About $8,600.
Just,
County tax dollars. That's just county overall. Between the three taxing bodies are right around 31,000.
so we're the third lowest.
We're the second.
We're the second.
But yeah, the township's only about 3,300.
Okay, so the township's 33, we're gonna lose 8,800, and the school district's gonna lose the rest. I would be inclined to agree with Chairman Vogler that we just wait to see what the school district does, since they are the number one taxing authority. And, if they go along with it, I think, I have no problem supporting this. But I agree, with, since they're the number one as far as the assessment goes. I think we should get their guidance and if I recall how this all works, all three have to agree to this, correct? If one says no, it's done.
Correct. All three agree. If one says no, then it ends up going to a bench trial in front of the judge.
Okay. I mean, I think you've done a good job. I think you've done all the statistics and the study, the way you presented yourself today. I appreciate that. And like I said, I have no problem with this, but I still would like to see the school district move first, because I think the precedent I've seen in the last 9 months, we've always been the third in line.
Yeah.
So,
And I know I came uncharacteristically in front of you. Usually I do wait, but we wanted to see, so the property owner and the judge wanted to see some action on this because this has sat on the court calendar for quite some time. So this should at least appease them that something is being moved and that you guys are just gonna possibly table this until the school makes their decision.
Dan, anything else? Yeah, again, I have no problem with what has been agreed upon. But as Mr. Sonata said, I'd like to see what action the school district takes, especially due to the fact that the school district is the largest of the three. And if they approve it, I would have no problem whatsoever in ultimately voting to approve it as well. But I think out of respect to their position, I'd like to see what action they take. Any other, now, again, let's assume we table this for the time being. That doesn't cause your office a major problem? Okay. With the understanding, and we heard what you said, you'd like to see something done prior to the end of October, though.
Yeah, and
Okay,
yes, that's fair.
okay. Other discussion, gentlemen, other comments? That would allow us then, if one of my colleagues wishes to make a motion, we could open it up for that.
I move we table this resolution.
Second.
Thank you both. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes?
motion carries.
Thank you. JR, would you be kind enough then, I'm sure it goes without saying, that you'll notify us once you know what formal action the school district has taken, the school board, and assuming they vote affirmatively to approve this, then we can get this taken off the table and voted on as soon as possible.
Yeah,
I
I'll
would
stay in touch with Vanessa and let her know when they voted on it, and then I'll come back down and represent this, so we can take it off the table.
Okay, great. We appreciate your understanding of our action today. Again, the understanding that we will revisit this pending the results of what the school board does. And you'll keep us in the loop.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much. Anything else for us, JR?
Not today.
All right, we appreciate you joining us.
No problem.
Take care.
Thanks, Joe.
We have a budget amendment. This would be proposed resolution 313. And this comes from the planning office. They received unanticipated dollars. They applied for a grant back in the spring, the WPC grant. And the grant came through in the amount of $21,000. Now, when the budget was put together last year, we weren't expecting it at the time, obviously. And the money did come in, so we have to amend the budget accordingly. And they're asking us to note that this $21,000 would be then added to the planning office's grants and programs expenses general account. Joe, anything else that you know of about this?
It's always good to have more money coming in than you anticipate.
Absolutely. Let me see if Mr. Sonata has any questions.
No, we like good news like that.
Thank you. Mr. Kennedy, anything? Okay, thank you. Gentlemen, this is number 313. Would one of you care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
I thank you both. Any further discussion? If not, we'll do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. Gentlemen, we have a number of transfers to consider. If you don't mind, I'll start going down the list. If you need to interrupt me, do so if you have any questions or concerns. And then when we get to the end, we can either take a blanket motion, or if you need to pull any out, we can do that as well. So we'll jump right into this. Under the Commissioner's office, we're asking for a $300 transfer from the Commissioner's contingency line item into the line item of travel and training. The jail is asking for a transfer of $1,931 coming from their materials and supplies line item into that of hauling and refuse. The courts would like to request that they take $3,000 from their materials and supplies line item into their interpreter line item. The Public Safety Office is asking for a total transfer of $38,831. Now, it's all coming from their budget, and it's broken out as follows. The first four that I'm going to read all go into their line item of radio tower / maintenance. So what they're asking for is taking $2,500 from access control / security system line item, $10,000 from the wireless connectivity line item, $2,500 from facility repairs, and $23,216 from radio system maintenance. And again, those four will all go into the radio tower maintenance. And then finally, the final part of this request is a $615 amount coming from their contingency into that of hauling and refuse. District Judge Cartwright is requesting a $300 transfer from his contingency into equipment lease and rental. Gentlemen, any questions about any of these? Hearing none, would one of you care to make a motion to approve these transfer requests?
I make a motion, we approve the transfer requests.
I'll second.
Thank you both, and if there are no other comments, we can take a roll call.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you, Vanessa.
You're welcome.
Couple of announcements. This board will reconvene a week from today, Tuesday, October 15 at 10 a.m. in this room, and that meeting is open to the public. We did announce earlier, but we will repeat that the courthouse will be closed this coming Monday, October 14, in observance of Columbus Day. Note a change in the date of the prison board meeting. The board was scheduled to meet on October 16. That meeting has been canceled and has been rescheduled for October 22, which is a Tuesday. So the prison board will meet on Tuesday, October 22 at 12 noon in this room, open to the public. We announced earlier that this afternoon, the three of us will be going to Mercer County to meet with the three Mercer County commissioners for the quarterly West Central Job Partnership Governing Board meeting. That is at the Mercer County Courthouse at 1:30, open to the public. And then just repeat one more time, and Debbie, I'm pretty sure you're aware of this, but we're really looking forward to Thursday of this week at 1 o'clock. The planning office is going to hold an open house, for lack of a better term, at Quaker Falls Park in Mahoning Township.
It's on my calendar.
Great, we hope you can join us. And Mr. Kennedy's been out to see it. I stopped out over the weekend. The enhancements are really, really impressive. So
It's
we're,
pictures.
we appreciate that you're gonna join us, and looks like the weather's gonna be nice on Thursday too. Public comments. Debbie, I have my packet for you, but do you have any questions? Okay, thank you. Closing comments, Mr. Sonata, anything that you wish to bring up before we adjourn? Okay, thank you, sir. And Mr. Kennedy? Okay, thank you. Vanessa, Joe, anything we've forgotten?
No.
Okay, thank you all. Well, there being no other business to be brought before this board, may I have an adjournment motion?
I'll make that one.
I'll second.
Thank you both. It's been moved to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carried. Meeting's adjourned, and Mr. Vanasco, if you'd be kind enough to turn off the computer. So, Debbie, I'll hand this to you.
Thank you, Deb.
How's Debbie today?
Hanging in there.
That's good. Good to hear.
Feeling a lot better?
Sort of.